Did the Epley maneuver fix your vertigo, but you still don't feel normal? The spinning is gone, yet you still feel off balance, unsteady, or you find yourself avoiding turning your head too quickly because something just doesn't feel right. You see, most people assume that once the Epley maneuver works, once the crystals got back in place and the BPPV got resolved, that they should feel completely normal again. That's not always true. In some people, the problem may no longer be coming from the inner ear. It may actually be linked to one specific neck problem that almost nobody is checking for, and that's forward head position or even a loss of cervical lordosis, the normal cervical curve. And if that's the case, it's no surprise that you're still feeling dizzy because this problem can interfere with the normal position and balance signals traveling from your neck to your brain. And in this video, I'll explain why this happens, what the research has discovered about restoring normal neck alignment, and why correcting these structural problems may also improve cervicogenic dizziness, even after your vertigo has been successfully treated. Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Salubro. I'm a corrective care chiropractor in Vaughan, Ontario, Canada, and also an advanced certified doctor in chiropractic biophysics. If you've successfully treated BPPV with the Epley maneuver, but you're still feeling dizzy, you're not alone. Many people have gone through this. Many people expect that once the crystals have been moved back into the place, the dizziness should disappear completely. But for some people, that's not always true. The spinning sensation may be gone, yet you still don't feel like yourself. You might be noticing a lingering sense of imbalance. You feel less confident on your feet, hesitate to turn your head quickly, or find yourself constantly thinking about your balance because something just feels off. Naturally, the first thought is that the Epley maneuver didn't work or that the crystals have moved out of place again. And in some cases, that can happen. But if you've been evaluated and told your BPPV has resolved, it's important to understand that dizziness doesn't always come from the inner ear. Your ability to stay balanced depends on much more than just the tiny crystals inside your inner ear. It also relies on accurate information coming from your eyes, the muscles and joints, and one of the areas that often gets overlooked is your neck. When those systems aren't sending the brain clear and consistent information, you can continue to feel dizzy, unsteady, even though your vertigo has been successfully treated. And one reason this can happen is because the changes in the alignment of your neck, particularly that forward head posture, that loss of cervical curve, the cervical lordosis, these structural changes may interfere with the normal position and balance signals that your brain depends on to know where your head is in space. So can forward head posture actually cause cervicogenic dizziness, which means dizziness coming from the neck? And the answer is yes. In some people, the neck can contribute to dizziness even after the inner ear problem has been successfully treated. This type of dizziness is called cervicogenic dizziness, and it occurs when abnormal signals coming from the neck interfere with the brain's ability to accurately determine where your head is positioned in space. And to understand why this happens, it's helpful to know that your brain doesn't rely on just the inner ear for balance. It constantly combines information from 3 different systems: your eyes, the inner ear, and also the neck, which we'll explain in detail in this video. When all 3 systems are sending accurate information, your brain can keep you balanced, coordinated, and your vision stable while you move, and that's very important. One of the most important jobs of your neck is providing proprioception. That's called position sense. This is your body's ability to know where your head is without having to look. Tiny sensor receptors, mechanical receptors, are constantly detecting movement, joint position, and muscle tension, sending thousands of signals to your brain every second. Research has shown that these proprioceptors are found throughout the neck, especially the upper cervical region, in the muscles and the joints of that area. This is the region that plays a critical role in helping the brain coordinate head position with the information coming from your eyes and your inner ear. So when the normal curve of the neck begins to straighten or reverse, when there's a forward head posture just like this, it places the head further in front of the shoulders. The muscles, the joints, the spine are all placed under abnormal mechanical stress and tension. And over time, these structural changes may alter the sensory information being sent from your neck to your brain. So instead of receiving clear and accurate position signals, the brain may begin receiving information that doesn't perfectly match what the eyes and the inner ear are reporting. This sensory mismatch is believed to be one of the primary mechanisms behind cervicogenic dizziness. Rather than the problem being with the crystals inside the inner ear, the dizziness may be coming from abnormal information originating from the neck. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone with a forward head posture or cervical lordosis that's been lost or straightened will develop dizziness. But it does help to explain why some people continue to feel off balance long after their BPPV has resolved, and why evaluating the neck may be an important part of finding the underlying cause. Researchers have investigated whether improving the structure and alignment of the cervical spine can reduce dizziness in people diagnosed with cervicogenic dizziness. One of the most important studies on this topic is this one here, called The Effect of Normalizing the Sagittal Cervical Configuration on Dizziness, Neck Pain, and Cervical Cephalic Kinesthetic Sensibility. Not to worry, we'll explain all that in this video. A one-year randomized control study by Mustafa et al., published in the European Journal of Physical and Rehabilitation Medicine in 2017. And this study included 72 adults diagnosed with cervicogenic dizziness who also had forward head posture and a loss of that normal curve in their neck. All the participants received a comprehensive multimodal rehabilitation program. However, the treatment group also received chiropractic biophysics structural rehabilitation. That was different, including cervical extension traction using a Deneral. This is a cervical orthotic prescribed Deneral. And the goal was to restore the cervical lordosis and reduce the forward head position. And after 10 weeks, both groups reported improvement. However, when the researchers followed the patients 1 year later, the difference were striking. The patients who received the CBP structural rehabilitation, which was using the Deneral to improve that cervical lordosis and also the forward head position, that's extension traction, the group that received the CBP structural rehabilitation maintained significantly greater improvements in dizziness severity, dizziness frequency, neck pain, neck disability, their ability to accurately sense and reposition the head, called cervical cephalic kinesthetic accuracy, and also forward head posture and cervical lordosis. Now, it's important to understand exactly what the study tells us. The researchers were not studying people who remained dizzy after successful treatment of BPPV. The participants had already been diagnosed with cervicogenic dizziness, meaning their dizziness was believed to be coming from the neck rather than from the inner ear. But why is this relevant? Because if your BPPV has been successfully treated with those maneuvers, Epley maneuver and others that are out there, but you're still feeling dizzy, one possibility is that your dizziness isn't coming from the inner ear anymore. There may be another underlying cause that hasn't been identified. And as we've already discussed, the neck is one of the most important sensory motor organs. And abnormalities such as forward head posture or loss of cervical lordosis, so that's normal, and that's a loss of cervical lordosis, that may alter proprioceptive information being sent to the brain. So those position sensors are disrupted, giving bad information about where your head is in space, and that can trigger dizziness responses. And that's why when someone continues to experience dizziness after their BPPV was resolved, I believe it's important not only to reassess the inner ear, just to be sure, but also the cervical spine, which we'll talk a lot in depth in this video, so keep watching. And this includes examining the head and neck posture, looking at the cervical motion and function, and obtaining standing cervical x-rays to assess the alignment of the cervical spine, which is very important. If an underlying structural problem is present, it may represent an overlooked contributor or cause of persistent dizziness. So how do you know if your neck could be contributing or causing to your dizziness? While a proper examination is needed to make that determination, however, there are several clues that may suggest that your cervical spine deserves a closer look or may be involved. So I'll talk about some of these right now. One of the first things to pay attention to is your posture. Do you notice if your head sits in front of your shoulders or is it aligned the way it should be? Do you spend long hours down at a computer, laptop, phone, cellular devices, iPads? Are your shoulders rounding forward? Is your upper back hunched, like a hunched forward posture? These postural changes don't just affect your shoulders and your upper back. They often change the alignment of the cervical spine as well, placing additional strain and stress and tension on the muscles, joints, and the supporting ligaments that provide important proprioceptive information to your brain. Now, you may also notice that your dizziness is accompanied by neck pain, neck stiffness, reduced range of motion, or headaches that begin in the neck and travel towards the back of the head. And in some people, turning your head or holding your neck in a certain position may make their symptoms worse. It makes the dizziness worse. While these findings don't automatically mean that your dizziness is coming from your neck, they do suggest the cervical spine should be carefully examined and evaluated. One of the most important parts of the evaluation is obtaining standing x-rays. And while posture gives us valuable information, it doesn't tell us exactly what's happening with the alignment of the bones and the vertebrae in your neck. A healthy cervical spine normally has a gentle C-shaped curve, just like that, okay? Shape of a circle. That's called a cervical lordosis. And more specifically, it's shaped like a segment of a circle. allowing your head to remain balanced over your shoulders while minimizing stress on the joints, discs, muscles, and ligaments. It's super important to have that normal C-shaped curve. Now, when that normal C-shaped curve begins to straighten just like this, it becomes completely flat or even reverses into a kyphosis, which is even worse, the biomechanics of the neck change significantly. You may hear these structural changes described as straightened cervical spine, military neck, cervical kyphosis, or loss of cervical lordosis. These are all examples of structural misalignments. They may alter the normal sensory motor function of the cervical spine. And that's why standing cervical x-rays are an important part of the evaluation. They allow us to objectively measure your cervical alignment, whether it's straightened, reversed, or normal, rather than guessing from posture alone. So you need both. You need posture evaluation and also x-ray evaluation. If significant structural changes are present, they may help explain why abnormal proprioceptive signals, those joint position sensors that are giving information to your brain about your body's position in place, if they are continuing to affect your balance, and even after the inner ear has been successfully treated. So if your vertigo has been successfully treated, the BPPV is gone, your doctor said the tests are all normal, the crystals are back in place, but you still don't feel steady on your feet, don't assume this is simply something you have to live with. Okay, it's very important. Your inner ear may no longer be the problem. There could be another underlying cause that has never been identified. That's why you have to look at the neck. So by carefully evaluating your posture, the alignment of your cervical spine, and the function of your neck, you may finally uncover the missing piece that's been contributing to your dizziness all along. And if you've never had a comprehensive postural evaluation and standing spinal x-ray to assess the alignment of your cervical spine and the rest of your spine as well, it may be worthwhile to seek out a chiropractor trained and certified in chiropractic biophysics, CBP. These doctors receive additional training in evaluating and correcting structural misalignments of the spine and posture, including forward head posture and loss of cervical lordosis. And if you need help finding a CBP certified chiropractor in your area, drop a comment below and I'll refer you to an official CBP online doctor directory that you can find a provider near you. In this video, you learn why you may still feel off balance even after your vertigo has been successfully treated with Epley maneuver. We've discussed how cervicogenic dizziness can develop when abnormal sensory signals from the neck interfere with your brain's balance system, what research says about restoring the normal cervical alignment, and how evaluating your posture and cervical spine may help uncover an overlooked cause of persistent dizziness. What stood out the most to you in this video? Was it learning about the role of the forward head posture or the importance of a standing cervical x-ray? Drop a comment and let me know below. And if you found value in this video, please give it a like and share it with someone who's still struggling with dizziness or feeling off balance after vertigo. Not only does it help that person with information they may not have, but also helps YouTube find the right people to watch this video. So it really does help out the channel. And if you want more videos about structural correction of the spine and posture that may help with conditions like dizziness, neck pain, disc bulges, and poor posture, make sure you subscribe to my channel and tap on the notification bell so you don't miss out on my new weekly videos. Now, if you'd like to learn how we help correct forward head posture and the loss of normal curve in the neck, go watch this video next right here. I'll demonstrate the complete 3-part chiropractic biophysics corrective care method we use to help restore cervical alignment. The same principles that we use when correcting loss of cervical lordosis and forward head posture that may contribute to cervicogenic dizziness. Go watch that video here. You'll find it very informational. And I show a lot of demonstrations right here.